What's going on in the hood? Everything is everything. Hope everybody's enjoying this lovely Thursday. Getting into the groove of it. One more day left. Tomorrow is Friday. Ugh. Bear with me 1 second, just getting these last little notes down and stuff. Usually open up the show with some old common sense info. We checking collars, people. Checking collars. We checking the collars. I know somebody's saying, why is he talking about checking the collars? I'm talking about checking the collars because the world is changing. Wintertime, we had some weight on them dogs. Starting to get hot outside in certain states. Weather's changing. Dogs' bodies changing. Getting hot outside. They lose a little weight. That collar that was snug during the wintertime is now super duper loose when they shed a couple pounds in the summertime. So let's stay on top of that. You adjust those collars when they gain weight. When they start getting hot, make sure you walking around and you pulling on collars and making sure ain't nobody lose 2-3 pounds and now the collar slip off their head. What's going on, Chase Manhattan, Outlaw Texas Kennels, Gregory Frank, Asiatic Soldier? What's going on? What's going on? Just opening up the show. Good old common sense dog man. Info. Check these collars. Got about a good little 4-question cook up. Some of these things we're going to be able to expand on tonight. But hope all is well. I'm debating to myself, do I want to switch this thing up to like a Saturday night show? Because I'm coming into my busy season and I know these days are trying to come be able to do this show at 8 p.m. is going to be a little hectic on my part. White chocolate. And I don't really want to be in a position where I'm having to postpone shows. We're trying to give this show out once every 2 weeks. You know, everybody's schedule is so busy. You know, everybody knows I do heating and air for a living. So summertime, it's just extremely hectic for me to get everything. You know, those are like the 15-hour days and stuff. Martinez Game Dogs, Jason Bush. I'm gonna throw it out there in the atmosphere to the chat and the followers. You know, maybe switching the show over to a Saturday if y'all down with that. If y'all will rock with us on that on a Saturday night, we may have to implicate that coming into May and June and July, because when it hits triple digits, it's just hell out here. But I've been enjoying the free time I have been able to have. I listened to a lot of good brother shows, man. Been a lot of good shows out here, man. Good information being told, man. The community is out here helping one another. Jason Bush, what's going on? Community's been coming together. A lot of good information. I mean, and you're getting it from all aspects. You're getting it from the old heads. You get it from the young brothers getting into it, and get it to like the guys who are just in the mid cruise run. They in the middle of their show hasn't ended. They just in the middle of the run. So this information that's been spread out, and it's been abundance. A lot of great talking topics that have arose. I mean, just a lot of information. As far as the other hand of it, you know, nothing shocks me, so nothing should shock y'all. 'Cause I heard a lot of these stories and stuff, and stuff from the horse's mouth when it comes to a lot of these old time stories with these dogs. And it's in a great position for you guys to hear a lot of this stuff that you're hearing, so you know exactly how the game was being played and how it's still being played today. You know what I mean? It's any and anything out here, brothers and sisters. Shout out to the female doggers too. We got a lot of female. I know a lot of female doggers. I mean, built for tough kennels. What up, man? Appreciate you swinging through. Yeah, man. I mean, nothing should shock you when you're talking about gambling and money. You know, there's very, very few 5%ers out there that just truly want to know if they got a good dog. You know what I mean? When you start talking historical standpoints and you talk about an abundance of money on some of these contests, you know, anything goes. So you really need to understand that. So I had a chance to listen to 78 joint, and I was listening to Boone talk, the competitiveness and all of these things that take place. You would hope that it was everybody has an honest stand up type heart where they want to do their thing as far as just wanting to know if you got a good dog. You know what I mean? Win, lose, draw, whatever. Just knowing that. But when you get that abundance of money involved in it, man, I had an old head told me about 14, 15 years ago. He said, back in the day, I'd strap a motherfucking rocket launcher to his back if I could. So you gotta know, man. It's all out to win. Soul Power, aka Gamed Up Kennels. What's going on? What's going on, brother Fred? How you doing?
Hey, am I on? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Hold on. Trying to get. I don't know if he's. I don't know if you muted or not, bro. You may have to
Yeah.
click back out and click. Oh,
How
I can
about
hear
that?
you now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, sorry about that. Salute to everybody. I'm a little bit late. I got a grandkid with special needs that I take care of. I'm trying to get him situated. So you have to give me
Man,
a
you
few.
good to go?
Huh?
I said you good to go, man. We all. Oh, everybody else know, but we know, man. I appreciate you making the time, man. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
appreciate it because I know you got a lot on you. But I was just telling the chat earlier, like, I may be trying to do the show on Saturdays because Saturday evenings because I'm coming into my busy season and it's gonna be hard for me to be getting home 8 o'clock during certain weekdays. You know what I mean? I have some 15-hour days, so I got to cook up with you and Brown about that as well.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, I got to get to the money.
Like you said at the beginning of this thing, we men with families and stuff. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, got a lot of people in the chat. So powered, CC,
salute to y'all.
Colta, DIY. I be who I be, Smooth Monty, Martinez, Game Dogs, Student for Life Dog Trading, IDT Kennels. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? She's in the house. We was just talking about the dog ladies early in the chat, man. A lot of good dog women out there as well.
Well,
Appreciate students for.
I know a whole lot of be respected because some of them are tougher than us guys, man, and doing it
Oh
now.
yeah, they ruthless.
And look,
They ruthless.
and a wealth and a wealth of information, baby. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
Hey, hey, you think we got passion for the line, and the women just show up and show out.
Man. But shout out to the ladies out there. Vinny, what's going on? Welcome down. What's going on? I think y'all doing the Patreon today too, right? IDT Kennels again, Vinny. What's going on? Check out 78 and them in joints. 78 Sports,
Hey,
man. They do the
salute to the
joints on.
guys. I was trying to get
They
on
doing
the
it.
other day. I was trying to get on the other day. My brother Ram sent me a thing, but like I told him, hey, I don't know a lot about this stuff, man. Thompson teaches me about everything I know, and he walks me through stuff. So you got to forgive me for being illiterate with some of this stuff uh, around. I'll be trying, but I got to do what
Oh,
I got to do what I'm good at, bro.
yeah, they did the Patreon yesterday. My bad. Hey, check them out on the Patreon too, man. They doing their thing up there on that Patreon as well.
Yeah,
What you call Fred?
I did. Yeah, I didn't know how to get to it.
Yeah. I got to holler at 78. I ain't get a chance to holler at that brother in a minute, man. It been so crazy with all shit going on. I got to link up with the guys. What you call? I guess we can start it off. We'll start cracking it off, man. Well, it was a lot of information that I was talking about earlier, man. A lot of great channels. We mentioned 78. Shout out to a lot of the brothers doing. I mean, a lot of good channels popping up. A lot of good information and a lot of good perspectives on things. That's mostly what I enjoy. You start getting into a mindset with the dogs, and you start just thinking one way with these dogs, and sometimes that could get a little tunnel vision, and just to hear some fresh input from somebody who may be approaching the situation a different way, it's enlightening.
Yes, it is.
But but what I do want to talk about is that we have a conversation arise about the scatterbred dogs versus the heavy bred dogs. Maybe I shouldn't say versus. This is an open discussion about we're just sharing information and stuff. But scatterbred versus heavy bred. What what is the pros and cons? Why is the scatterbred dog? This seems to be on the downfall. A lot of people, that was something that I first heard when I first got into dogs. People would say stuff like that, those old scatterbred curs and shit like that. So, and then you'd hear the other side of the heavy bred dogs. Oh, they break too tight. They don't have any ability and this, that, and the third. So let's open it up. What do you feel about the scatterbred dogs first? Let's just crack off with the scatterbred dogs. And what do you think is a scatterbred dog? How many lines before you would start saying, hey, this is kind of a lot?
Well, you want me to start off with it?
Yeah, I'll let you. I'll alley oop it to you. I usually start first. I'm gonna throw you the ball first, man.
well,
I want to
well,
hear this from you.
I'm gonna just say, uh, if you're gonna say tight bread, a lot of times they look at pedigrees and you know as a people of the American Pit Bull Terrier, you got lines out there that a lot of people are familiar with, and so they get sucked into this thing if it ain't come from a certain camp that they don't feel like it's something that's going to be worthy to put in their line. Well, you got a lot of times dogs that come from certain camps that people go and get these dogs, and you may have 4 or 5 different people that go get the dogs. Then you got some people going to do right by the dogs, and some people are not going to do right by the dogs. And then you're going to have some of the dogs that disappear. But if you have 3 or 4 of them that slip through the crack and become something, and you hear about them 4 and 5 and 6 years later down the road, you'll start getting people that start to be, kind of like liking the dogs, And I believe, like with the scatterbred, you know, some people say that's scatterbred, but they're not really looking into where the dogs really came from, because a lot of the dogs come from the same pot of dogs. You know, you look at Burleson dogs, right? And you know, Burleson made so many different lines of dogs that if you're not privy to it, you would never know that all of them was coming from the same Burleson dog. You know what I mean? So you got like, you know, we were talking about the Midnight Cowboy, the Rufus type dogs, and then sometimes the closer you get to uh 2023, you start to understand, oh, you talking about the Crocomont dog. But once you start going back 20, 25 years ago, you'll get the old school guys, they understand, oh, Midnight Cowboy, you know what I mean? But, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just like if you talk to some people and they talk about the Niggerino dogs, you know, Budweiser Crusher and different types of Kate dogs that she had, and you come up with the Eli 3 dogs, you know what I'm saying? And it's different kinds of Eli 3 dogs. It ain't just one kind, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
you got several different kinds of bullies, son. You know, and he done made just a whole lot of different uh group group of dogs that was prominent in our lines today. But you know, everybody don't like the same bullets and dogs. So when you say scatterbred, what are you saying? Is you saying if you don't have the same people in line, or do you saying if you got 3 or 4 different bullets and dogs together? You know,
That's a good way of thinking about
I've seen guys breed like that. I've seen guys, because you got different gene pools that they pulling from. You might have bullets and dogs that some people like because of an activity that they bring to the game, and you say, "Well, I'm gonna pull more from this side because I like what this dog is doing." Then you say, "Well, I like what this dog is doing, and I'm gonna start breeding for more of this over here." And then you got another guy that's going to breed for something else. You know what I'm saying? And so you got 3 different guys breeding for 3 different things, and they might not like each other. Say, well, your dogs ain't no good. Well, these dogs over here ain't no good, but they come from the same spot. Come from the same
it.
spot. So a lot of times they get me confused because people be really thinking that they different type of dogs, but they the same bloodline. Which sometimes you can get that out of the same litter. Because if you do a 50-50 cross, I mean, you're going to have dogs in that one litter that going to be some of them on the pull more from, I could say, the Boyles dog, and some of them may pull more from a Red Boy Jocko dog. You know, and you're going to be able to tell the difference. And you won't be able to tell which one is which if you sit there and look, especially if you know your dogs. So, you know, that blood splits up immediately. And then if you do the breeding one time and you take and do the breed the second time ain't gonna be like the first time. That's why sometimes you get guys, they do breedings on their yard and they come up with dogs that's phenomenal dogs. And then they say, well, I'm gonna repeat the breeding. And guess what? You never see a dog like that again. And I've seen guys
Mm-hmm.
do that with the same 2 dogs and think they're gonna re-up on the same type of dog that came out on the first try, and the second litter be a totally different kind of litter because you pull it from a separate gene pool on the second time. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
I was rambling a little bit for some people, but
No,
I
no, you hitting it right on the head. You know, and the outlook on the scatterbred. I'll be wondering if as is it just like being too obsessed with pedigrees? Because you know me personally, so you know I've never been a huge pedigree guy. I was always really concerned about like the first 3 generations at the most. You know what I mean? And I know there's a probability you can pull traits from fifth and sixth, but you know how frequently is that going to occur? You know what I mean? Like you said, it may be one dog in that litter that may pull from a trait that you know from the sixth, seventh generation back. You know what I mean? The game's a probability. So I always tried to have the mindset of being impressed with the parents and grandparents. And if I could settle with that, I'm good moving forward instead of like trying to shoot for a dream. You get what I'm saying? It's like you're not really picking what's consistent. You're picking something that you're not aware of that came from the back up to the front. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I
But
understand. I-
we cooking that scatterbred. Let's talk about the tightly bred dogs. Why do people feel like those dogs are more coveted? I'll
w-
uh, I'll bounce off on that one first with the with with breeding, and we talked about probability just a little while ago. There's a level of mathematics to it. When you deal with tightly bred dogs, it's a smaller gene pool. So those traits that you know and like, you know where it's coming from. You know what I mean? When on the scatterbred side, you don't more variables. Even though we could have, I seen scatterbred dogs that was just all champions and shit. You know what I mean? But at the same time, all those dogs are different. Every one of them has a different traits and qualities about themselves. And the probability when you do a breeding, you may be pulling from abundance of traits. So consistency comes into play. With the smaller gene pool, you 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 kind of know where you're at. And when you add something to me, because a lot of people look at it different ways. Because I could own pure dogs, and this is for the young brothers out here. I can have the pure boils dogs and stuff. And the word that gets thrown around a lot now is the hybrid vigor, which AKA is like a battle cross essentially. You do a cross and you immediately get a higher vigor in the dogs than what the parent was. But on the flip side of that, I could have the pure dogs, but only sell the crosses. So all I would allow to the public would be the hybrid vigor dogs. So you don't actually have the ingredients to make what I'm giving you. You're getting the outcome of it. So a lot of different aspects come into play when you're talking about tightly bred dogs and why they're coveted. Because from me crossing dogs and doing crosses, it seems like the explosion or the intensity of that hybrid vigor that everybody's talking about, it comes out better when you're using tightly bred dogs and you cross them out. You get what I'm saying? Or is it just me, Fred? Or have you noticed that?
well, it's almost similar to what you were saying with the hybrid vigor, but the thing is, a lot of times the hybrid vigor dog, you're gonna get that in an inbred. I found that a lot of times the inbred bring that hybrid because you're gonna compound a lot of dogs into one gene pool, and you're gonna see the good, bad, and the ugly. I mean, sometimes you get dogs that are freak of nature, and then sometimes you get dogs that is straight up garbage. So, uh, when we talk about type bred dogs, you hear about people doing 50-50 crosses. They're going to do a cross with a dog, and they might have a buck dog, and they say, well, I'm going to breed to a pure red boy dog. And they do that cross, right? So it's really like a bolio, red boy cross. So when they do that 50-50, most guys say, I'm going to either
Fred, you going in and out a little bit, brother.
the females, and they'll come up with the half brothers and sister breed, which I like better. But that's here or there. But when we talk about tight bred dogs, you have people that do uh, the daddy back to the daughter, or the mother back to the son. Some people like those, and some people can't stand it. and some people don't never do an inbreed. So it's all according to the people that's doing it, and what they're doing it for.
That's a good way to key on it. Because the hybrid vigor thing as well that we brought up, and you alluded to it earlier in the conversation, that when you do these breedings, especially with those type of crosses and the discussion that the hybrid vigor comes up, it may not come up in the, it's not a guarantee you're going to get that across the whole litter. Like Fred alluded to, you may get some pups that pull from that side of the family, some pups that pull from the other side of the family, and there may be one or two pups that it actually blended, the blood genetically blended in them, where they're totally different than the rest of those pups. And it's usually you notice it with size and bone structure. And that stuff pops off like that. You see it immediately with the pups when things link up like that. And it's like I said, it may not be across the board with the whole litter. It may just be one or two individuals in that litter that really possess that vigor that we're talking about. So I want you young brothers just to think, you do that cross and that whole litter. Sometimes the whole litter comes out on fire, but I'm talking not attitude wise, but physical. The physical part of this, what you're looking at, not attitude wise, the size difference, the bone structure, the health. These are things that you'll see immediately from young puppies when that vigor pops off. Especially if, like Fred alluded to, you're paying attention to the dogs that you're feeding and
Well,
you're recording this information. Go ahead, Fred.
a group of the guys that really believe in breeding to the best. And if you're gonna breed the best to the best, and I guess if you own your yard and you're not coming off of your yard and you're gonna stay on your yard, you're gonna see good and bad and ugly there. So sometimes you may go and buy a dog, per se. If you go and buy a dog, and you start the process over again because you got to learn what traits that you bringing to your yard, what good, bad, and ugly things are you bringing to your yard. A lot of times people don't realize until the dog get to the yard and start seeing all this funky stuff jump off. And and
Hey, hey, you on a
I
Bluetooth? Hey, Fred,
yeah,
you on a
yeah,
Bluetooth?
yeah. Take it off.
Yeah, yeah, you sound kind of
Take it off.
distorted. Yeah, you going in and out on that
Oh,
Bluetooth.
okay, I'll take it off. Let me see how I do it. Let's see if I can get off of it. I had the Bluetooth on where I could uh, move around. What, how how about that? Can you hear
Yeah,
me
yeah, you
now?
sound clear now. What you were saying? Yeah, I can hear you clear. Go ahead, what you saying?
Yeah, I was saying that a lot of times you got people breeding different dogs in the yard, and they trying to make the best dog that they can make by breeding the best to the best. And a lot of times, you know, you know, I'm not really breeding for the actual paperwork or uh, you know, keeping up with the line. You know what I mean? They just
Yeah,
willy nilly got a dog here. Either that dog gonna make the cut or he ain't gonna make the cut. So when it comes to breeding, they be on a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? Well,
yeah,
look at the paperwork then and try to make something happen and sauce it up together like that. But a lot of times you're not going to be able to stay within the line and say, well, I'm going to make a purebred red boy dog or a purebred, um, Jeep dog or whatever, a purebred Eli dog. And, a lot of times they try to stick to the line and it don't work out a lot of times like that. That's why you get a lot of people that that now they trying to blend their dogs, you know. But the thing is about blending dogs, you got to have a family tree of dogs that's been producing good dogs for a period of time. I mean, time and time again, you know. I, I done seen dogs that produce good uh, on a regular on a regular. They do it all the time. And then you got some dogs that produce and right off you ain't no more not one of not one puppy. You want to even feed the dog. You know what I mean? But not saying
Yeah.
somebody shouldn't feed a dog, but you know, uh, a lot of people,
It's not the quality that you want.
yeah, a lot of people shouldn't be breeding dogs. Put it like that.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to breed dogs, and when we talk about this thing and having family trees of dogs, are tightly bred dogs, and being able to do breedings and keep dogs off of the breedings to actually see what the dogs are, that's a privileged position to be in. And I know guys that have been in dogs for an extremely long time, and they never truly had a family tree of dogs. They always had dogs, but it wasn't a family tree of dogs. And that's kind of something that you either got to be in pursuit of, because there's a lot of ways of looking at this as far as what lane you want to get into in these dogs. You could be a person that has an assortment of lines. You don't really have a program, you're a fancier to breed, and you have a assortment of lines. And then you got people that have a family tree of dogs. I was always on family tree of dogs. And that takes a lot of patience to stay in a family tree and see the good, bad, and the ugly and stick through it. It's a difficult thing to do, because you're going to see, if you're dealing with a small gene pool of dogs, you're going to see the good, the bad, the ugly, and you try your best to pick the best representatives and consistently move forward in the tree with them. And after years and years of putting dogs together, picking the best dogs off your breedings, the family tree is now compounded with a bunch of good dogs. You gotta figure out what type of person you really is when it comes to this thing that we're talking about, because there's performance and then there's production. Some people are infatuated with the performer. I was always the person who was infatuated with what created the performer, because I've seen an abundance of good dogs. Fred's seen an abundance of good dogs, and you're down dealing in them, but all of them don't produce what they are, and there's some that do, and that's really the quest that you got to find yourself. That I've always been on. I never was quick to sell parents. To When I got a good performing dog, I was never in a rush to just get rid of the parents and just say that this is it. No, there's an equation. There's something that's taking place. These good dogs just don't fall from the sky. Certain things link up and work, and you got to be cognizant of that if you're trying to breed dogs. Because I get so many emails and questions about the breeding dogs, and it's like you gotta have patience, and you gotta be paying attention, and it takes time and money, because you gotta keep dogs to have a family tree. You know what I mean? Unless you just surrounded with people that you can farm dogs out to, or place dogs would, and they're gonna give you access to these dogs and stuff. And that's a
Man,
game.
you
That's a
about to go
dangerous
down the
game.
rabbit hole. You about to go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's the God's honest truth. Because you kind of relying on somebody. You you're relying on somebody else to come through with the bag. And I never been the type of person to put my program in somebody else's hands. So I was always known to keep a lot of dogs off my breedings. I mean, what was it, for like 3 years later, something happens, these ain't hamsters, like I say all the time. It takes years to raise one dog.
Well,
Not months, years.
hey, hey Thompson. you know, I had did about 3 or 4 breedings last year, right? And one of the breedings I did was because I did a breeding uh, about almost 2 years ago that I really enjoyed watching them grow. And so I said, well, I'm gonna do the same breeding, but I'm gonna use a different top side this time. But it'll be a Boyle's top side with the Chinaman Rufus stuff on the bottom again. But I just changed the daddy dog, you know, and I changed the mother dog, but
Mm-hmm.
I put a tighter mother dog down there. And so, like when I did the breeding, you know, them puppies still here, and you know, people don't want to give me what I worth. So I said, okay, I see what this is. So I you know, I've been feeding these jokers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you, it's just like you said. A lot of times you got to put the work in. You got to get your hands dirty, and you got to be ready to take care of some dogs. Because you know, I was counting some dogs, which I usually don't count. I usually don't count, you know. And most of the time I just count big dogs. I don't count puppies. You know what I'm saying? But this time I counted puppies and grown dogs, and I was at 34. And I said, "Oh," and I'm by myself. I ain't got no kennel partner and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about from the muscle, baby. And you know, I've been out of work for 2 years and a half. You know, behind my eyesight. You know, so
Mm.
hey, you know, the kennel partner now is my lovely wife. Give it a shout out to Miss Shirley.
How you doing,
Thank
Miss
you,
Shirley?
thank you so much for helping me feed these animals. Hey, every time she go to pick up them bags, she remind me, you need to do something, son. You didn't do something, son.
Boy.
hey, hey, and
Shit.
she telling the truth. But every time
Oh,
we keep 1 or 2 puppies, that number go up. And look, and a puppy becomes a grown dog. A puppy becomes a
exactly.
grown dog. So, you know, while you chasing, you know, a pure dog, or while you chasing, you know, a lot of people look at the pure dogs and stuff, and I like to make my dogs. You know what I'm saying? I don't care, you
Mm.
know, who bred what, and just like the Manny dogs. You know what I'm saying? For years and years, I've been breeding Manny blood, but I had Lady Gaga, so I wouldn't have, I wouldn't just what you call it, threw my whole head in on Manny. I was looking at the whole big picture. You know what I'm saying? So now
Yeah, you had other mates.
that Manny dead and gone, you know, a lot of people are still on the Manny train, but you know, I'm looking at the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? You best to be looking at the dogs within themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because Manny was just one dog, but the intention of Manny is still around. I mean, I see the intention all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm looking for, the intention. If they got that intention, I want that intention in my next litter of dogs. And I keep on looking for that same intention. And if you don't know what I
That
mean by intention, don't worry about it. You'll figure it out as you
exactly.
go.
Exactly. Exactly. Shout out to FBK Red, RKBB Fat Farm, Ray in the building, BGTMC. I mean, I appreciate
Salute,
everybody.
salute,
Jody
salute.
Sanders, Mag Civic, Peanut Butter on Toast. Glad everybody's in the chat. Yeah, man. I mean, and I guess that'll lead up to our next conversation. Is even having a family tree of dogs a thing anymore? Is that like, still a thing? Because like you said, you just mentioned it. You like your own sauce. And I got many dogs, but I didn't
You
start
got
off
your
with
own
pure
sauce.
boils.
But
Yeah, I didn't start
you
like
got
people
your
ask me that and I'm like, I started off with crosses. I took those crosses to a pure boils dog eventually, but I started out with the crosses. And
but
the crosses
the
phenomenal.
thing is, you've been taking the Boyle's dogs to the termite stuff, to the sorrel stuff. I mean, it's just different uh, flavors. You know, you had the dynamite dogs. already crossed in some of it. You know, you trying different things. And I tried different things before I even got into the Boyers dog. So I already know some of the stuff was working before I started. So that don't make no difference if I got Boyers dogs or not. They was doing good before and they doing good after. So even if I cross a Boyers dog within it, it might make a better dog. And that's what you want to do. So hey, it's all in not being afraid to try it. And sometimes people try it and it's a dud. But I've seen a lot of times when people tightening up dogs and stuff, what we call, like you said, inbreeding and stuff like that, and trying to keep the same family tree, that they make a whole big mess, man. And I
Yeah.
done seen it before.
Yeah.
It just be a ridiculous mess, just because you trying to keep all the Killian dogs, or you trying to, Ronald told me years ago about the high class red Johnny dogs, or the what you call the handicap dogs. They don't do good
Hmm.
when you pile them up close together. And see, a
Yes,
lot of
I heard
people,
that too.
if you pile them up too close together, you're gonna have some garbage. So that's just like what we're talking about tonight. You learn some of these things by trial and error. And then once you take some of that handicap stuff and you start putting something else between it, and then you come back to it, put something else between it, then you come back to it, you'll start seeing a different type of dog. And then you do that about 5 or 6 times, and you compound all that together. You're gonna have your own kind of handicap dog, but it's gonna be your dog.
That's a major key for the young brothers that's always reaching out for the information and stuff. And you alluded to it earlier, sometimes you got to keep, everybody has this assumption that you do a breeding and you're going to snap your finger and people going to be knocking your door down trying to give you cash for your dog.
No,
That's not how it works
it
out.
don't work like
That's not how it works out.
and a lot of times you don't
Whatever,
you don't you don't get
whatever you doing, be prepared to feed it. You got to put that work in with it. It's no ifs, ands, buts around it. So because it's been situations when I've done readings and they may not have been popular. And I kept those dogs. I raised them. I put them through the 32 chambers. And then at 3 years old, everybody's, oh my God, I want something. No,
ah
not for sale.
hey
No,
hey they
not
didn't
for
want to go
sale.
through the work, baby.
Yeah,
hey
like I love doing that shit too.
hey hey I
Low key,
got
I
some
love doing that
I,
shit.
I got some over here about to go through that 32 chamber, baby, and I'm gonna enjoy every minute. And they guess, they better know that it ain't gonna be the price that they are now. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be that price.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah, you in the nosebleed section now. You in the nosebleed section now. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And there's nothing wrong with that, you gonna do because it was schoolboy. I was talking to schoolboy one time and on that live, and he said, "Don't wait till things start falling apart to do certain crosses." You know what I mean? Don't wait till you start seeing shit go wrong and then you run in to do the cross. Sometimes do the cross when you already fit when you if you're doing something tightly and the dogs are strong and healthy and you got some good representatives, don't force that next breeding trying to do something tight, trying to, like Fred alluded to, like a lot of people did with the cap dogs, kept trying to pile it on top of each other over and over and get trashed.
they did the
While
same
the
thing.
dogs are still good, do your outcross.
They did the same thing with the queen dog. They piled all her
Yeah.
offsprings up together. But the thing is, you got different dogs that become something. That's the first thing people want to do. Just like the Boreals dogs now. I want a pure Boreals dog. Now the dogs I got that I got from Ronald Boys, I would call them a pure Boys dog. But if you look at them for what they worth and how they bred, what is they pure Boys off of? I mean, don't you
Mm.
know these dogs are off of different dogs, and different dogs was added to the Boyles dogs to make a collaboration of dogs to get this dog to Ronald's table to stir up. I mean, yeah, it's a Boyles dog, but you got to understand that it's other stuff in there other than just it's a lot. Sometimes it may be a lot of Jeep Rascal in there. Sometimes you going to see dogs in there that you
Boomerang
say,
in there.
hey, I done seen Cotton Bullet up in there. You know what I'm saying? I done seen different dogs in there that you wouldn't think, hey, what
Some of the
that doing in
Corvino
there? You know
stuff.
what I'm saying?
Some of the
Hey,
Corvino stuff back there. And everybody look at the Sorrels dog and be like, what? And yeah, all right.
see, but these dogs be in there already. But if you put them in there, they be saying, but I don't like that. But that stuff be in the dogs already. But you
And
know,
which could be considered a loose line breeding. Dogs
yeah,
that are breeding that are distant relatives.
and
Those are some of the best breedings that you could ever do.
but a lot of times they put different dogs in it to correct problems too. And a lot of people don't
Exactly.
understand.
There's a reason. There's a reason. They're not putting it in there just to be putting it in there. There's a reason.
Man,
I just alluded to. Don't wait till it starts going bad
don't
to
wait
try
till
and fix it.
man. Let me tell you, the Chinaman Rufus stuff that I had, you know, uh, it was known for certain problems. You know, I I know back in the day when Preston King had dogs and stuff, and a lot of people may know the Preston King dogs, but a lot of them had problems with their back leg. They back leg would like protrude all the way back too far. It was like if they was. You ever seen a girl stand on her legs until it bow backwards like that?
Mm-hmm.
That's something how the Chinaman Rufus dogs used to do. The leg used to go too far back. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, like when I added my old family red, all of that stuff was corrected. You know what I'm saying? So I put that in there for
Mm.
for the correction stuff. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people wonder why. Why did you do that? I did it for that, and it brought better health, better teeth. The whole package became better.
Mm. This
And
is key breeding.
I mean that's how a lot of people do with different dogs. I mean, it could be all across the board. You'll see people take dogs and put them into the line to better the line. Me and one of my friends did a breeding with the Boyles dog, and we bred a Bolio dog to the dog. That Bolio dog added thicker hide on the dog. The Bolio dog added thicker legs on the front. I mean, uh, uh, they hardware and they jaws and all that was changed in a minute. You know what I mean? So, and then he did an inbreed, and you would say, well, he finna mess up now, but no, he didn't really mess up. I mean, it was like he, like you said, it compounded it. All of it came together in the hybrid. And I got one of the males. He got a crooked tail. Looked like somebody slammed his tail in the door jamb. You know, it looked like somebody slammed his door in the car door. You know what I'm saying? And it stayed like that. Yeah. So I know a lot of times we look at these dogs and we be thinking, well, hey, we can get away with this and get away with that. But people that really look at dogs and look at the structure of dogs and look at the, you know, I put it like some people are like almost like judges. They can look at a dog
Yeah,
from top to bottom and never stand in front of the dog. Just look at a picture of it, and can tell if the dog is uh, uh, correct. You know what I mean? I mean, even with
that's because
go ahead.
that leads into that the inbreeding and line breeding, why it's frowned upon. You know, it serves it serves a purpose, but it's not for the young brothers that reach out to us. And I appreciate all the emails. I mean, Fred, I got screenshot some of the emails we get. A lot of people enjoy the show. Appreciate you coming through. Hold on, I got damn. I had the stream.
Well, I appreciate all the
Brother Brown, brother Brown, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. What's good, man? What's good, Fred?
yo, what up, Brown? Bro, Brown.
Yeah. What's good,
Yeah,
everybody out
man.
there?
Appreciate. Let me shout out Jody Sanders, Rooted Kennels, K9 Swift, Melvin Harper. Appreciate everybody. FBK Red. I appreciate everybody swinging through in the chat. And y'all, there's so many people to shout out. Y'all like and share. If you guys, if some of these people have channels, link up, watch each other's channels. Each one teach one. But I lost my train of thought. What we was cooking on?
We was on.
Why is the line breeding and why is the line breeding and inbreeding frowned upon? And we're talking about certain characteristics you'll see in heavily inbred dogs. And what I was saying was, I got my train of thought back. I apologize. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. What you call my train of thought is it's not a secret ingredient for the young brothers. You know what I mean? All this information is predicated off the dogs that you actually have. So don't think just breeding tightly you're going to get phenomenal dogs. It's a tool that's used. All of these, the 50-50s, the three-way crosses, the four-way crosses, a lot of this stuff is set up just exactly like that. They're tools to use with the dogs that you have. You got to figure out what tools work best for your trade. You got to be paying attention to the traits, the tendencies, the health, and the health is the most important thing. Because once you start getting unhealthy, that's a scary road to be on.
Wow.
And it starts off with slight defects. It starts off with slight defects, overshot, undershot, bowed legs. You start seeing certain things starting to pop up in these breedings. So you always want to place health first, because health
Hey,
is going to take place over temperament. Because you're going to see health before you see temperament. A puppy will be fucked up before you could ever find out it was a good dog. So health is going to be first. So you want to prioritize that for the young brothers. Go
yeah,
ahead, Fred.
yeah, because you got some dogs that have bone deficiencies and the calcium and stuff in their legs. Their legs look like they bow legs. You remember not too long ago you were talking about was this dog about walking on his elbows. You know what I'm saying? And I had a whole litter that was like that because you know they was needed calcium. You know what I mean? And a lot of people
Yes.
don't know what to do when they see the dogs like that. Then you have puppies. Sometimes they be still swimming around at 7, 8 weeks old. They can't even stand on their feet yet. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it'll be different problems that you are gonna come across. Even like with the females, they might blow out in the back. What I mean by blow out,
Prolapses.
they prolapse and everything else. So it's all according to once you start seeing these problems and stuff. You gotta kind of like find out where it's coming from. And a lot of times, I hate to say this, you got people that are sell dogs that are already having problems and send the problems to your house. You know what I mean? So you got to be mindful
Yes.
of that because some people don't respect one another enough to even uh, uh, let a person know that the dog has problems. You know what I'm saying? If the dog do have problems, sometimes you can take them to a vet or something like that, and they might can correct it, and sometimes they can't. But if you don't know nothing about it and you find out the hard way, sometimes you got to just take your pill and do your work.
That's
That's so
true.
true. Brown, what you got on? What you got on? Why is the line breeding and inbreeding frowned upon? That's kind of what this cook up was.
With the lawn breeder,
In the inbreed,
uh,
because we're talking
eh,
about it's frowned upon, and I know why it's frowned upon because we alluded it. But I just want to get your input on it.
yeah, I mean, you could breed tight. You could breed up something that you ain't never thought you was breeding up. You can make a mess. You know what I mean? Or you can make a mess. I mean, because everybody in the kitchen cooking. And
Go ahead,
for real.
man.
I mean, just because they in the
Everybody
kitchen
gets
cooking
good.
don't mean they know how to cook. You know what I mean? And like y'all was saying, you start running into these problems and shit, the bow leg, you start seeing the prolapse. You even go deeper into it, man. You might have dogs, like we said before, you might have dogs that have, internal like genetic problem. I mean, even down to heart murmurs.
Yeah.
And you were stuck with a dog, you ain't checking no heart rates and seeing things, but at the end of the day, this dog is sick. You know what I mean? You wondering why he can't go the distance where he's supposed to be. You know what I mean? You wondering why, you
Mm.
know, you got to look for certain things. But if you don't know, I guarantee you, the person that you got the dog from ain't going to tell you.
Man, you got dogs that the females don't reproduce. You got
Right,
Mm.
that. I mean, a whole family tree of dogs like that. That's out here right now. You you might get one that produce and the sister don't. You know what I'm saying? You got
right.
different family tree of dogs and stuff that have uh, all kinds of problems you can run into, man, with these dogs, man. That sometimes people will tell you what's going on before you get it. Some of the females eat their puppies soon as they're coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Think you about to have a
All of these are traits.
you think you about to have
Right.
These traits
hey
ain't dog.
I
These traits
hey
ain't just box
hey
traits. Y'all
I
gotta get
just
past the box now. Some of this shit, everything's a trait. It
hey
doesn't just equate to dog on dog combat from a historical standpoint. We talking about just the actual characteristics. Because we paint these dogs as gladiators, and they are, but they still are dogs. They're
yeah
dogs. They're canines,
yeah
and they have traits, and we got to pay attention to these traits.
that's
I
true.
want this to be. I want this to reach out to the young brothers that's always calling. Reach. I want to pure this. I want to pure that. I want to pure this. You don't know what consists of that. You
Man,
truly don't. And when you receive it, you're not ready for what you receive.
and then
There's reasons why things are bred the way they're bred. But go ahead, Fred.
a lot of times they see pure, and and, and they say, well, I see such and so all the way from the first generation all the way back to the seventh generation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's all
Right.
you see from seventh to eighth generation. Okay, but you got to understand, just like shout out to the Mims family. Uh, Carl Mims passed away a couple months ago, and hey, he was a big impact on my life and his wife. Shout out to y'all. But
And
I can tell
I want to say something too. We totally forgot because when he passed away, I have wrote that on the damn sheet, and we started rolling with that show, and we never even said it. So I mean, rest in peace to Carl Mims. So I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I
yeah,
had it on one of my note sheet, and we forgot about it.
had a great impact on my career. I mean, me and Carl used to sit on the phone for hours, bro. But you can pick up one the Mims. Uh, you gonna see it from the seventh generation as far back as you can see on some of them pads. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, when you look at his pads, you're gonna see that he bred the dogs, but you better be looking at what he breeding. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at it. his style of breeding also. You can't just look at it and just see his name is deeper than that. Just like you look at the Boreal dog, you see his name, yeah, but you got to see what he's breeding and how he's putting it together and what his breeding style is. You got so many different prominent breeders. I mean, you can go on and on and on, and that's why you got certain groups of dogs that been around for for so long, because you had a group of guys that was breeding dogs that had an idea on what they was doing with their breeding program. Some people don't have no idea. They just go on willy-nilly to the wind. You know what I mean? And you're going to get that, and that's going to fizzle out real fast. But if you look at Boudreaux, you're going to see a mastermind. You know what I'm saying? If you look at those guys like a Morgan, Morgan been breeding for the longest, and he ain't just breeding just one group of dogs. You know what I'm saying? You got to get that man his
Yeah,
props.
he got different
He
family
got
trees.
Hey,
Yeah.
he got some flavor in his breeding program. You look at Sin City dogs and the Heavenly Man. He would breed the Bolio dogs, and he would sow that Bolio's blood in that's so pretty. You know what I'm saying? And you would have to look at and see how he bring a little bit of Arizona heat to the house. You know what I'm saying? So
But
all of it
but
would come
I gotta throw
together.
I gotta throw this I gotta throw this out there
I,
now,
I'm
Fred. Because
I'm getting my
I was
stride
this
right
per
there.
I want
I'm getting my
you
stride.
dropped the jewel.
I'm getting
You
my
dropped the
stride right
jewel,
there.
but
You
I want to elaborate on this. I want to elaborate on this jewel you dropped. I'm gonna shout out to the young brothers again. That's calling me, reaching out to me and asking me this and sending me this pedigree and sending me that pedigree. I'm gonna say this because I'm guilty of it. Don't be if you're gonna read a pedigree and you know the family tree of dogs, don't be a lazy pedigree reader. If you're really gonna read the pedigree because everybody in these dogs ain't scumbags. It was hanging papers and doing this. I can't talk about what was done in the 70s, but I can talk about what I did and what the people before me did. And one of them's on the phone with you now. So everybody ain't scumbags. But if you are dealing with trustworthy people with a real family tree of dogs, don't be a lazy pedigree reader. Because it's numerous times people say, "Oh, you got Manny 4 times, four or 5 times." Nobody ever looks at the bitches I was breeding them to, or the bitches I was breeding Hustle Man to. You can see a dog a couple of times in a pedigree, but that same dog could be bred to completely different. A Sin City bitch, for example, with Harry Hargrove, and then on the next one he could be bred to a Eli bitch.
Hey,
There's techniques. It's
hey,
techniques
Tom.
in these pedigrees if you're dealing with real people who putting them together. He
Hey,
mentioned
Tom.
Carl Mims on the phone. It's an
Hey,
art
Tom.
to that shit if you're really looking at it.
Hey, you got three people on the line, right? You got Thompson Kennels, and you got Brown Kennels, Bro Brown, and you got Pitbull City here. And I'll put it like this: when y'all two guys came to me, I shared the wealth of information that I had, and y'all took that wealth of information. And one thing about y'all two guys, y'all had your ears on and y'all put the boots to the ground. You know what I'm saying? They didn't just listen to me and then I had to keep repeating myself. These jokers listened to what I said and they start putting the pedal to the metal. And look,
Right,
after 10 years or more, now you see the results of it.
right,
And the
right,
thing what I'm saying is this: I had an idea because I seen other breeders do their thing. And like when I started conversating with Ronald, you know, I was going there with other guys that were just going to buy a dog, that were just going to buy a dog off a champion, this, that, or this, or they were just wanting to get something that was the next big thing. The next big thing is good to have the next big thing if that's what you're into. But if you can make dogs yourself, you'll be making something then. If you can't go in your yard, you look at Thompson. Thompson I ain't gonna say he don't need me, but I'm gonna say this. Thompson able to stand on his own 2 feet. I ain't gonna say Brown don't need me no more, but he can stand on his feet. Now, if either one of them need me, they call your friend. And look, hey, we put our heads together then. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
the old
we did some nasty breeds,
man.
boy.
Hey, I put it like this. One rope is all right, but you take 3 ropes and you start weaving them 3 ropes together, you got a stronger rope now. You know what I'm saying? So us 3 guys, it's a stronger piece of rope now, baby.
Oh yeah, this is
a
getting old now.
strong piece of rope now, baby. And see, the
yeah,
thing
man.
is, you look at Thompson yard, look at Brown yard, and you can see the madness in it. Because the thing is, hey, you can see it. Hey, look, it's consistent. It's consistent. And even the dogs that I'm making over here today is a different kind of dog than when Thompson first came over here. When Thompson come to my yard, he said, "What is this? How did you do this?" And he would sit there, and it's a whole nother conversation. Because I didn't sit there and I didn't look at something else. You know, Thompson know me. I go and start digging in some stuff for real.
He the peg guru.
Hey,
All y'all do to think Thompson the peg guru. I told y'all earlier in this conversation, I ain't a peg guru. I'm looking at mom, Fred will dig up some stuff and hit you with some stuff that will have you like, well, goddamn. You know, I give you that, Fred. You the OG when it comes to that shit.
Hey, Ronald called me the what he called me the hacker. He said, "Are you a hacker? Are you a hacker or what?" I said, "No, I just had to learn how to read Pedigree." You know, one of my partners used to be at his desk in his bedroom. He had a desk and his computer, and he used to get on the Peds online. And I used to be, what you call it? I used to stand there and watch him doing his thing when he's searching Pedigree. And I used to be in awe. I said, one day I'm going to be like him. And look, and I had a desire to learn, you know. And look, I just got around guys that was willing to teach me a little bit. But when I was able to stand on my 2 feet, I did just like you and Brown did, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to pass on to the new guys that's coming to the yard. Y'all coming to the yard like a blank sheet of paper. We know that it's guys that's out here that got dogs and they way above your pay grade. And it's just like you playing in the sandbox. You playing in the sandbox, but you want to go over there and play in the big boy playground. You need to stay in the sandbox for a little while until you can learn what to do in the sandbox first. Go on and get your toys and get your little bucket and get your shovel first and start
build a
playing in the
sandcastle,
sandbox first. I mean, you gotta respect that. You better respect that, because if you don't respect it, you'll be crying.
For the young bulls, don't even be sensitive. You got to remember, I was 20 years old, 19 years old, 17 years ago, and I had to play in the sandbox. I had this little shovel and all that. I had to sit there and watch and take some harsh ass lessons. But that time in the sandbox is vital. The time in the sandbox was episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was that little series. Keeping your dogs alive. That's what you learned in the fucking sandbox. How to keep my dogs alive and healthy. So don't think that sandbox time is fuckery. It's not. That sandbox time is valuable. Keeps your dogs alive when you get to play with the big boys and meet these big time dog men and see they dogs and know, okay, that's what you're rocking with. I got something that's with that on that level. I got something I can put together. I see how you're pairing your dogs. I see what you're looking for that's the big boy lane when you eyeballing and seeing everything for really what it is. But please, young brothers, don't skip the sandbox, because the people who skip the sandbox is the people constantly having to buy dogs because they can't keep their shit alive.
Hey, that
Thousands of
sandbox,
dollars on dogs.
yo, that sandbox, you know, to me, that sandbox, it'll make you a beast. You know what I mean? Because yeah, for real. Because one thing about it, yo, you got to learn. You have to learn. You got to learn how to. First, you got to learn how to read these pads. You got to learn how to take care of your dog. You learn all this in the sandbox, you know. And we ain't trying to tell nobody nothing that, you know, far as you got nobody trying to tell everybody something. But like I said, that sandbox, you know, you in there, you learning, you know, you reading your pads. It might take you some time to get where you at. And that's another thing, time itself. Because when you're in that sandbox, you spending time. That's why I say, yo, it'll make you a beast. Because when you come out that sandbox, you should be ready. And if you ain't ready, then go back to the sandbox. You know what I mean? And that's nothing bad.
Hey, bro. Hey,
Yo,
bro. That hunger for these dogs will make you come out that sandbox, baby.
that sandbox, yeah, you become a beast.
Let me tell you, me and my sister, her name is Nikki. Shout out to Nikki, my sister. We started on this journey with these dogs together. And after a year, she said, I'm done. She cashed out on me, man. She cashed out on me. But, you know, I didn't had a lot of them come and a lot of them go. You know, I didn't had a lot of dog partners come and a lot of them go. But the thing is, you know, it's about who's going to survive, man.
Yo, I could vouch for that.
Survive, you know what I'm saying?
I could vouch for that, man.
And then, you know, my wife and my family and stuff, they say, well, you ain't really got nobody that really gonna take this thing over when you get through. But the thing is, it's my attitude towards these dogs. You know what I'm saying? It's the attitude that I have and the respect that I have for these dogs that's gonna survive because I put it out in my dogs like that. You know, a lot of people don't realize when I walk on my yard, my dogs is a reflection of who I am. So you're going to get a determined dog just like I'm determined.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I vouch for that, man. You're going to get, like I said, man, can you handle a dog? You know, you walk on somebody's yard, you see a bunch of dogs, you see pups. Can you handle that, man? You know, I had a guy call me the other day. Huh?
Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Shout out Gas and Go Kennels. Shout out Fat Farm and Eli Zachary. The good brother Eli Zachary, man. Eli.
Hey, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat.
Shout out to the chat. But go ahead, Brown. You were saying you said somebody contacted you, Brown. I didn't mean to cut you off. I had to shout out the brothers and sisters.
Oh, nah, you good. But I had somebody contact me, yo, they had a dog for like 8 years. And that shit hurt him. You know what I mean? Dog got wrapped up, killed itself, you know. But all along, you know that this dog is zooted. You know, like it's that's why I say, can you handle a dog? You know, you never know when that time gonna come. You feel me?
Yeah, that's the real.
You got 8 years with this dog. You know, like, can you? I mean, you can handle it, but can you handle a dog? You know, like this dog is a. I'm gonna put it like this: these dogs are reflections of you, right? But not only that.
Yep.
You know, far as what I try to put in my dogs, because I want some dogs, they try to be smarter than you. I want them to be smarter than me. You know what I mean? when I turn my head, I want you to try to hit and open the cage. I could tell you intelligent. You don't get
Mm-hmm.
that all the time. Can you handle that, yo?
Yeah, fucking with Fred, he done put some stuff together with my hustle man blood. Yeah, I'm still getting the funny emails about how I gotta have that dog in the cage with the top and everything. That dog sit there and figure shit out, man.
Hey,
You
man,
know,
let me tell you, that is the half brother and sister. That's what I learned from Ronald. He said it works every time. And look, uh, when
this shit is
I,
dangerous. That shit is.
shout, shout, hey, shout out to Josh Brown. Oh, Josh made it happen. Josh put the little sweet pea dog in my hands for about a year, and then Josh said, "Fred, can I get my dog back?" I said, "Man, come on, get your dog." And, a lot of people say I wouldn't have never gave him that dog back. But look, let me tell you something, bro. I knew that was that dog. That dog was that man's heart when he gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? I knew that man liked that dog. You guess how much I charged him when he came to get the dog? Nothing. Pick up your dog, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That was a young cat that was getting dogs at the beginning. He got Sweet Pea first, then he came over to my house and got Pretty Boy Bam Bam. Now he spent money with me, and so like when he came back, he wanted to breed Sweet Pea to Wolf Nilo. He paid me $300 and he gave me a puppy back, because I had Wolf Nilo up for stuff for $650. And a lot of people didn't take advantage of
Which
it.
is still crazy
I mean, people
which is
were
still crazy
mad
when you
love
say that out
with
loud to
that
me.
dog. And I couldn't believe it. They played games with me, bro. But now
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
people
And
that
for
want.
everybody, and I just want this. I want to throw this out there for all of the. I appreciate all of the people who reach out, but for all of those people that love that Russia dog, because I got a lot of dogs, but that Russia dog, for some reason, I get more emails about that dog than anything on God's green earth. That's a daughter off of Nilo, bred to my
Yes, sir.
termite bitch.
Yes, sir.
Just to let y'all know. And he was studying that dog for 650. And Nilo, and I'm not a person that I'm not a hater. You know, a lot of y'all young brothers is at a crossroads where y'all can become haters. I'm not a hater. Nilo been throwing dogs like Russia.
He been
I
throwing
seen a
dogs.
bunch of them.
He was throwing dog. Nilo was the
A
old dog
bunch of them.
when I got him. And he had a damaged front leg, and I took care of that dog until he was 12 or 13. I think he was 12 or 13.
Yeah.
But uh, a breeder, you didn't have to help him at all. I mean, he would lay down with the dog if the dog laid down. And man, he just was a breeder. But Josh Brown took and
Hmm.
got his breeding with Wolf Nilo, and then he wanted to keep all the puppies. I said, I don't mind, keep them all. He said, you rather have the mama dog? And I couldn't believe that man said. I said, yeah, I take the mama dog. He bought that mama dog all the way to my house, and I said, hey, I'm gonna breed this dog to Bam Bam, and hey, there you go. That's how. What's the dog name? That you got, Thompson?
Lady in Rage. Lady
Lady.
of Rage.
Man. But she came off a
That dog
litter.
is oh.
She came off a litter, and the little male I posted kept off the litter. I think it went to Mississippi, and I didn't even get to keep a pup off that litter, cause
I got your damn pick. What the hell you talking about? You because the one I got was the one because I saw when I came to your house and I saw them pups because this
yeah,
would have been Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea is off of Hustle Man to Beretta.
yeah,
So that was Hustle Man to a, a Boyle's bitch.
yeah,
That's what produced that Sweet Pea dog and what you call not Sweet Pea, but that was the breeding on the damn dog. But what I was saying was for the young brothers, he had the litter of pups. I don't want you young brothers because I said earlier in this conversation about production and performance. You know what I mean? Production is key. Where the pups came from. Don't make quick decisions because everybody out here ain't Fred. Everybody ain't gonna be like, yo, you can come get your dog back for free.
Oh no.
Everybody doesn't give you that grace of covering your mistake.
No, no. And
So
see,
young brothers out there, please don't be quick to do certain things.
a lot of times I do that because I know if I do right by people, right will come back to me. You know, Thompson, you used to say this all the time to me when you was younger into the dogs. You used to say, man, you'll get rid of a dog and I'll be doggone you'll get it back. And sometimes you get back better than what you put out. But it's the truth. If you don't put nothing out, you certainly ain't gonna get nothing back. If you're a stingy person and you like to grab everything and you like to keep everything to yourself, hey, guess what? It's gonna be right there. That's as far as you're gonna get with these dogs. But when you get around people and you able to share a little bit of your goodness, and a lot of times, you know, in these dogs, people feel like, well, I don't want nobody to know how my dog's bred. I don't want nobody to have what I got. And guess what? We got what you got already. It's out here already. So all that foolishness that you try to keep going, hey, you might as well stop it, man. Best thing to do,
Yeah.
raise your dogs, take care of your dogs, and hey, you'll come up with something good. Don't be trying to be in competition with everybody because you're wasting your time, man. Don't be in
You can't be in
competition with everybody.
competition when you're in the sandbox. The sandbox isn't the time for competition, and that's where a lot of people are at. You're in the sandbox phase, but you're trying to do too much. You know what I mean? Every breeding is 2 to 3 years, and that's if you playing by the rules of the book. We're not talking about all of the young dogs that get bred, but if you doing breedings and you talking 2 to 3 years per dog, raising each dog, that's a lot of time. And like I said, things happen with these animals. Some yards get destroyed before they even begin. You know what I mean? You get a good dog and you own both the parents, and you get a litter of pups and you get some good dogs. You better covet those parents. Do it again if you want to see if it works out twice. If it's really gold, you know, because we talked about you could do the same breeding and you may not get the same caliber of dogs each litter using the same two dogs, but you may want to repeat that breeding again and see, okay, this is something that's equated to work. This is proven to work for me. You know, go through your phases very slowly with these parents and puppies, because parents are established, pups are not. You know what I mean? So please take it for what it's worth.
Right.
Also, what we got to talk. Oh yeah, this is a common question, but I had to get y'all input on this one too. Now, how many generations is it before it's your bloodline? Because that seems to be a rising thing now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna leave that open for you guys. I guess Brown, how many generations of dogs until you can say it's your bloodline?
Hey, me personally, on a comment like that, I put it like this: if say you breed a dog, right, and I take over from
Yeah.
there, that's the beginning of my bloodline because I'm going a whole different direction. You know, is it going to work? I don't know. On the other hand, you know, what I put together might be better than what you put together. So, am I supposed to give you credit for something that I'm doing?
Mm, mm.
You feel
This
me?
question, this is a rabbit hole that we got to go into because Fred alluded to it on the last live. I got an email. I was supposed to go about the discrediting of where the dog came from and people doing, you know what I mean? So this is a little rabbit hole we going into. So you rocking with the minute you acquire the dog and you start with that dog, that's the beginning of your bloodline.
No. As soon as I get the dog and I start, put it like this: if the dog is worth breeding, for what I want, for what I want, then
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like I said,
So first breeding.
the first, you mean like the first generation?
Yeah, first generation. Because see, that this goes back into your quote before. You
Right.
know, what was it? It ain't. It's not working because you would take the credit. Let's put it like this: you buy a dog from somebody. You buy a male dog from somebody. You do a breeding, and the pups is better than what the parents are immediately.
Right.
You would have you get your credit, but you still would have. It would be all your fault if those dogs turn out to be shit. It's your dog. You get what I'm saying? It's
Right.
your.
It's just your
It's,
dog. Your dog ain't shit. You know what I mean? And yo, not only that, I mean, for one thing too, if you get a dog from somebody and that dog is what you want it to be, like I said, it's worth breeding in your program. Yo, you can't knock the person that bred it. You know, you got to give them credit. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's real shit. Because I
But
know they done
I'm
took
not
Fred off of
saying,
pedigrees and shit.
yeah, but me like, yo, you're not gonna actually, like, say a first generation dog. Yeah, you started off whatever, but see, that's when you start breeding for better. You know what I mean? And hopefully the person that you got the dog from was breeding for better. That's why you got a good dog.
Mm,
People don't think
mm,
about it like that. You know what I mean? That's why you pick and choose who you go to get the dog from.
mm.
But a lot of people don't even get to that point because they get a good dog from a good breeder, and then at the end of the day, you don't mess the dog up. And who fault is it? It's the goddamn breeder fault.
Yeah, that's true too.
A lot of people,
Fred,
I
what's
mean,
your
they don't,
cooker? Fred,
yeah,
you
bro.
Hey,
tap in
hey,
on this
hey,
one.
hey, 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 you can't once over what Brown just said, bro. Hey, when he just said
I'm
the breed.
already on it. I know y'all sit. I know y'all sitting there. I know this was gonna be a hot topic.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
yo, because you got people
hey,
that'll
Brown said,
breed dogs,
hey,
huh?
hey, hey, if they mess it up, it's the breeder's fault.
It's the breeder's fault.
No, no,
That's the first name they're gonna call, yo. If the dog ain't
no.
good, it's the breeder fault.
If you messed it up, you got to wear that. You know, I believe that's why Ronald say, don't call it no boss dog if I didn't breed it. And you know, me and him was talking on the
Mm.
phone, and he said, what kind of dog it is? And I said, it was a boss dog. He said, I didn't breed that SHIT. You know what I'm saying? He was being honest. He didn't breed it. I bred it. You know what I'm saying? If I breed it, it's no longer his dogs. It's my dog.
Right, right. And the crazy part is, you know, like we were saying earlier, you could be breeding from the way his blueprint is.
Ah,
Mm,
come on, Brown. Finish what you were saying, bro.
where is deep, man? I mean, but then who gonna get the credit? You know,
Wow.
who gonna get the credit? Who really
Wow.
gonna get the credit? You know what I mean?
Mm.
You might, like for instance, you might get, say I got Boy's No Name, and I took her to another well-known breeder that breed Boy's dogs. You know what I mean? Breed under Ronald dogs. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So at the end of the day, here I am being a scientist in this thing, trying to breed for better. It's different when, like you know, Fred, you can go back and pull the thing, pull it back up. People don't know it's how you
Mm.
breed.
Mm. Mm.
Come on, bro. Come on. Hey, I'm sitting over here laughing. I got it on mute because I'm on here part of it.
Yo,
It's the God's honest truth. He dropping jewels. It's the God's honest truth. Because this is what happens with stuff with these dogs. You know, I'm seeing it a lot. People want the dogs, but it's like whose name is on it, and it's becoming like an issue. Because I've been very honest about this. When you purchase a dog from me, that's your dog. I don't have any stipulations. When you purchase a dog from me, that is your dog. You're free to do whatever you want with that dog as far as breeding. I have no control. I give people their correct papers and everything with their animal. I do 100% correct business. So when I put it out there, that's yours. I don't tell people how to breed it. I don't have no influence. You got to
Oh,
make a decision based off of your assessment. I will help you. If you call me and ask me a question, I'll give you the God's honest answer. But
oh,
at the same time, I'm not dictating nobody's program. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in that position. It's not my position to be in. And I don't want credit or foul play for what you got going on. Because I don't want credit either. I once I sell a dog, I'm prepared for it to be gone. Because if I sell a dog, 99% of the time, I got 2 dogs off that same litter. Because I don't really sell nothing to nobody that I'm not feeding. And that's my G code. If I'm gonna sell somebody it, best believe you'll see 2 pups off of that litter on my yard while your puppy is growing too. We'll all hold hands and jump off the cliff together. But go ahead, Fred.
yeah, Ken Brown.
Huh?
I think
I
you was on mute, Fred. Go ahead.
yeah, I was on to say I did a breeding. You might remember it. I had a dog named Sweetie, Sweetie, and Sweetie originally
Sweetie, you talking about Sweetie Bobby Hall stuff?
yeah, it had the Boyers Geno stuff on the top coming through the spade dog, and it had the Bobby Hall stuff on the bottom.
Yeah, I remember. I know who you talking about.
Well, Carolina Core was the one that owned the dog at the beginning, and then Flowers had the dog, and when Flowers died, before he died, I had Bam Bam's Bam Bam's sister. So
R.I.P. Fowler too.
yeah,
R.I.P. Fowler. Go ahead.
Fowler wanted to breed Bam Bam's sister to Wolf Nilo, and so we like traded dogs. He came Bam Bam's sister, uh, and Bam Bam is the dog that made your dog was
Lady of Rage.
Lady in Rage father sister, and so when
You swap Bam Bam Belly sister for Sweetie.
yeah, and Sweetie came to my house, and I had Sweetie over here about good 2.5 years, and I did a breeding for Anthony Graham, which was my partner, Anthony Graham. And Anthony always liked the Boyers of Bobby Hall's Cross. And Sweetie had been bred already straight to Bobby Hall's. Bobby Hall's had bred Sweetie. So the dog already had a lot of accolades behind her already. So, just off
I
the
remember that shit with that Sweetie dog.
yeah, just off the
I
just off the
remember all
strength
the
of that.
shit with that
But
Sweetie dog.
listen. I was on the share
I ain't
little.
want no parts of that shit.
Man, I was on the share just a little bit of it. I just want to share, just a little bit. And so,
Go ahead, cook up,
I,
man.
I'm over here feeding this dog for 2.5 years, okay? And so I hadn't got a breeding off this dog yet, but she came in heat and I tried, but I wanted to breed a certain dog to her, but the dog didn't have nothing but one testicle. So uh, he would get stuck, but he still wasn't making no puppies. So I wasted, heats with that, and it just didn't come out for him. So we bred Sweetie to A. Graham Manning, and I did that for Anthony Graham. So when I did the breeding for Anthony Graham, she had 7 puppies. And when I say I did the breeding for Anthony, he came over here and he got 6 puppies, and he left me 1 puppy. Now that's what I'm saying. He came and took all them puppies with him. So a lot of people didn't recognize me as the breeder of those puppies. But they'll come back and tell me, man, the best breeding that Manny ever did was with Sweetie and Whoop 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 with third. And I'm like, the Sweetest was my dog, and I was the one that did the breed. Nah, Anthony Graham did that. Yeah, I did it for Anthony Graham, but no, that was my female. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, yeah, we're not going to get credit for certain things, but at the same time, you got to understand if you don't never do the breeding, you can't get no credit anyway, or nobody will never hear about the dogs anyway because you never did it. So
Facts.
sometimes people got to give respect when respect due, because a lot of times these breedings never get done if you don't have the person that's willing to go through the due diligence enough to get the stuff on the ground. Because I bred the dog and I wept the puppies. Another time, a lot of times you got to get a dog man respect that wept these puppies, because a lot of people cannot whip or wept a litter. They get into trouble. You know, Brown had trouble when he first started trying to get puppies on the ground. And Brown should have quit and gave up, but he didn't. You understand what I'm telling you? He should have quit and gave up because he was at that point. But, you know, he had that drive on the inside. Hey, I'm not quitting. I'm going to stay on this thing and I'm going to get it done. And which he did. He got out the sandbox. You understand what I'm telling you? Now, I'm telling your business, Brown, but that's the truth. You know what I mean?
Hey, you
but
good,
a lot of people don't see the tough times you went through to get to the good times today.
Right. Well, I was going through all kind of shit, bro. You know,
we all been there. This shit is motivation for the young bulls too, because this we ain't up here capping like, oh, this shit was all peaches and cream from Jump Street. No, it was horrific L's across the board. Fred alluded to last live. I used to be like, man, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. You get, because it's costing you money every day, and you're taking horrific L's, and it's costing you money, and it's like, man, is this what it is? But you gotta, if you love it, you'll push through that shit to get to the, because you'll see your brothers being successful. You'll see, and that's the motivation. But don't think this is gonna be easy. It's a lot of stuff you gotta learn to even be on the plateau of having generations of dogs. I just alluded to earlier. I know a lot of brothers that been in dogs, for the young brothers who really pushing that family tree, because that's really how a lot of the young brothers is trying to get established. They're trying to get their collection of dogs and start their little family tree of dogs. And with starting the family tree of dogs, you have to be able to maintain these dogs for years, and add dogs while you're doing this. It takes a lot, and it's punishment when you take L's, because these L's ain't 2-month, 3-month L's. Some of these L's is 2 years you have invested. Every day working dogs have so much invested in this animal, and something happens to it. I mean, it's real, and that will cur a lot of people out, man. It really will. It's been times I done sat on the porch drinking a beer, and I don't even drink beer. This shit is real.
yeah, it is real, man. Imagine, you waiting like, say, 2 to 3 years to breed a dog. You get something on the ground. Shit, I'm saying, and you lose them. You know what I mean? Shit, some people lose them while some people lose the pups and the parents, the moms. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I had that happen.
It's a lot of it's a lot of what's in you. Like, if that dog is in you, you're gonna keep going. Like you know how they, I guess the people say you're gonna keep scratching. You know what I mean? Telling you go scratch your back. You know what I mean? For real, man. You gotta keep scratching, man. Keep scratching, because at the end of the day, there's nobody actually supporting you. You know what I mean? You're doing all of this by yourself, man.
Yeah,
You know, you taking that
yeah,
loss. You know, you putting that time in, like you said. You walking and working this dog. So it's all about what's in you.
yeah. And I hope that's inspirational words for the young bulls, man. I really, because I hear the horror stories. I got some young bulls that took some bad L's. You know what I mean? Accidents, all types of wild, crazy shit. You take some L's in these dogs, but you know you're gonna have to keep scratching. You know that's the only way. I wish I could have more motivating words for some of y'all who took some of them L's, man. But all I can tell you, brother, is you gotta just keep pushing, man. Keep pushing through it because it's never gonna stop. It doesn't like it's never ends where you stop taking L's. The only thing that changes over the years is the L's aren't as dramatic because once you hone your skills, especially for the young brothers that's dibbling and breeding, when you hone your skills, we talked about production and performance. You know what made that dog that you lost. You know what was put together to create what you have. So
Well,
the L's aren't as dramatic as from when you're in the sandbox.
well,
Because when you lose something that you don't know how it was created or truly got to that point, it can shake your world.
well, Thompson, you got to know that buying a dog is different than breeding a dog. You know, you can breed different ways. You can breed on your yard. You can pay for stud fees. And I even had people that say they want to use my female, uh, you know, for a breeding and stuff like that. But different people do different ways. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
it's all according, like you said, what you willing to step into. And a lot of times I'm like you, I don't want to step into none of it. If I can't control what's going on, I don't want to be a part. Because a lot of times you lose friendships and get in arguments, and people are hurt you nowadays. You know, people are quick to use a gun and shoot somebody over small matters. You know, a lot of times you
Yeah.
look at things and say that wasn't worth killing nobody over. But you know, we're not
You
dealing in regular times. This is not a regular time no more. I mean, if you cheat
you was
somebody,
cooking up. You wanted to cook up on that you wanted to cook up on that last episode too. I guess we could close it on that note since you brought that topic up. The opening your doors to doing the outside breedings because we talked about stud fees and stuff, but I kind of want to go deeper than the stud fees because you brought it up that last episode, right? About doing breedings with your homeboys and your partners, and you know, just opening your doors up for foolishness to happen. You know what I mean? Um, Finish your thought, and then Brown could cook up on that. But you was talking about you know somebody wanted to breed your bitch and all of that.
yeah, but you know, I wouldn't want to get into none of that. And you know, you can take and breed to different dogs off your yard, but you know, I guess it's a preference of what you want to bring to your yard. I got certain
Yeah,
guys
so
that I deal with that they got dogs that uh, you know, I don't know call the names tonight, but they got certain kind of dogs that they've been breeding longer than I've been into dogs. So they're dogs that really what I would call um, cornerstone dogs. You know, they've been doing the same thing for many years, and been able to capture the line of the dogs for many years. So you know, I have a female over here that one of my partners would like to breed, and I may do the breeding, and I may not because I got too many dogs right now. But at the same time, you think about it, but I'm kind of like I don't know what I'm about to get into. You know what I mean? A lot of times we think it's easy to go do that breeding, yeah, but how easy it's going to be to do the rest of the work. You know, it's working these dogs, man, and a lot of people don't want to. I mean, if you already got your hands full, sometimes you can overdo do things. You can overwork yourself, and a lot of times you burn yourself out like that. Uh, you could become a poor man by dog food expensive, medicine expensive, everything is high right now. So
High.
I
Man,
mean,
there's
ridiculous.
75,
It's
$80 bags
ridiculous.
of dog food, bro.
It's ridiculous. So you got to really have a passion and really got to want to do these dogs that have them nowadays. So to sit here and talk about you're going to be doing a bunch of breedings, you got to really be kind of like and fell off your rocker. Because
Oh
the
yeah.
dogs that I got, even what we would call a pure boys dog, I know I can't supply everybody with pure boys dogs. I wish I could, but I don't have it like that. I may have 5 boys dogs that's more like without the outs or whatever. But at the same time, they dogs that I didn't sit here and collect it for myself. You know what I'm saying? And I would be a dummy now that Ronald's not breeding any more boys dog to say, well, you can come get all of mine. I'm not going to do that. You know,
Hell
people
no.
people can get one 50-50, or they might can get one with a quarter of balls in it. But oh, I don't want that. Well, hey, you got to go find it where you can find it, bro. Because I'm telling you, it'll be slim pickings. Because a lot of people are holding on to their dogs now. If they say boys dogs, hey, I don't care where you go at. Nobody ain't throwing those away no more.
No. Them dogs are coveted now. Brown, what's your cook up on opening your door to doing buddy breedings and dealing with people and stuff as far as adding stuff to your yard with people you don't know, just the pro. I would say more or less just the cons because I got a cook up on this for a young brother that was reaching out to me as well. But go ahead, what the pros and cons of opening your door, your yard to doing certain breedings because they're available. What's your cook up?
Well, both of y'all know me, and I don't be opening my doors for nothing, man. You know what I mean? Like, for real, y'all know me, yo. And I mean, people want to do breedings. That's cool and everything. I don't mind, but you got to be careful who you open your door to. Because, like I keep telling y'all, and I elaborate on things. It's not their dog that's making it like that. It's not your dog. It's their dog. But if it don't
Hmm.
work, it's your shit. You know what I mean? And that opens up a whole nother door. And as a grown man, I don't got time for that, man. It's dogs, man. Like I done seen so many people just, lose relationships. Long term relationships because they open up their door. You know, now you
Hmm.
worrying about this man running your stuff. You worrying about who hands you putting this stuff in. Oh, it's still my stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just because you open your
Yeah.
door.
This is pivotal for the young brothers because I know a lot of shit is enticing, and this is for the brothers that's kind of coming out the sandbox now. And there's a lot of stuff that's enticing, but when you open your door, it's open. I was always the person I could just talk about how I am. I was always the person I'm gonna save my money and buy it because then I own the rights to it. It ain't nothing. We ain't gotta argue about nothing. I was never a person that would open my door to just doing breedings. And I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it, but I always weigh the pros and the cons of a certain situation. And Fred alluded to everybody. We all on this. We all three of us on here. We know a lot of people in these dogs. We know a lot of people in these dogs, and all three of us know everybody we know in these dogs ain't in the right state of mind. We already know that.
Yo, we will breed. Yo, at the end of the day, yo, we will breed amongst each other.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I will go to Fred. You know, like what we did. You know what I mean? What me and Thompson did. Yo, when you got it like that, you don't gotta go out. You really don't gotta go out.
Brothers, if you're gonna do it, make sure because there's so much bullshit in these dogs, man. It get worse. It get worse and worse and worse. Know the cons. You know, if you got some good brothers around you that you know them and you know they about their word, it ain't gonna be no issues. And you got a good track history, by all means. But just be mixing with certain people in dogs, this shit get downright violent, man. So just know that for the young brothers, because everybody ain't playing. You know, it's not even you could be playing with them. It could just be they overbearing, harassing you, all type. You like, what type of weirdo shit is this? You know what I mean? Like, it's weird people like that, man. In these dogs, is a lot of different characters in these dogs. I keep trying to tell y'all, young bro, everybody ain't your friend. It's damn near like the streets, and I hate to say that shit because we do this live all the time, and I really don't be wanting to compare this stuff to the streets, but it really is. And unless you're a person who knew how to operate in the streets, you better get your whiskers and your antennas up dealing in these dogs because people will play all types of games with you. You could take your bitch, and next thing you know, he don't sign off on the papers. It could be some old weirdo shit. You can't get in contact. The puppies, it was supposed to be 5 puppies. Now it's 2. It's all types of weird shit. And unless you're prepared to deal with it, don't do it.
Yeah, you gotta look at you know, health wise, you know, is they dog healthy? Well, I mean, enough to breed. You gotta look at, you know, what the dog brings to the table. I mean, you got some guys that will monitor you. Like you said, you gotta have your antennas up. You know, you breed with them, they calling you back on the same day the dog's born. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You ain't hearing nothing from them. You know what I mean? You thinking it's just business. It's more than just business, you know. And you can't knock them. You know what I mean? But if it's business, it's business. You know, like I can understand now. Like they say that shit is weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It goes to a deep rabbit hole because a lot of y'all young brothers, brother Brown said a serious word: business. When you paying these stud fees, you buying puppies, whatever you doing, you're conducting business. And everybody, when it comes to business, everybody ain't playing. Because nothing like business and playing is like oil and water. It don't mix. So just know you're doing business with somebody. So be prepared how they're gonna handle you, especially when it comes to them stud fees and pup back deals and all types of other transactions. Fred alluded to somebody may want to breed they male to your female that you own. I mean, I've been offered a bunch of times, but I'm not doing all that. But if that may be a situation that comes across you where you like, okay, I'll let you breed your male and my female, and I keep a pup or two pups. And what happens when that litter is one pup that live off the litter, and that motherfucker want the one pup? You get what I'm saying? You gotta have everything in detail in business if you're gonna play off your yard. When you having that conversation with that person, you better have every if and but in that conversation. What if this happened? What if that happened? What if it's all females? What if it's one female and the rest is males? What is this? What's that? Have that conversation to the T with whoever you doing business with, so it's all on the fucking table when it hit the fan. Cause that's when it gets ugly. When puppies start dying and all type of weird shit go on, that's when it gets ugly. So y'all better have an agreement. If it's one puppy, you better have had if one puppy live, who gonna get the puppy? Have that conversation before the shit turn left. Because I know a lot of brothers is meeting each other and y'all is everybody's cool. And I'm glad that the community's getting together. But I know a lot of y'all brothers is sending each other pedigrees and y'all planning to do breedings and all type of stuff. Have these conversations before y'all be pulling pistols out at each other, busting at each other in the street. Just my wise words to you. Have these conversations before it go all the way left. So it was already spoken about. But anybody else got something to say on that?
Hey, y'all was handling that real nice. I like the way you did, both of y'all, because the young guys nowadays, you know, I'm an older cat, you know, and I got grandkids and great grandkids, so you know, I look at it in a different kind of way, you know, and I don't put the dogs. I put the dogs in their right perspective. You know what I mean? I don't take and put them up with my kids or my family members or nothing like that. And I'm supposed to rule over these dogs. You know, I put them in the perspective as the Lord told us to rule over these animals that's on this earth. You know, so I'm gonna take and do right by what's been put in my hand, and so when y'all messing with these dogs and dealing with the man that you're dealing with, you know, you got some of them like Thompson was saying that do some weird things, might be calling you all day, all night, and won't get off the phone. And you know, you got family, you know, especially if you got a woman, and your woman to say you be on the phone more than you be on the phone or talking with me with this dude. You know what I mean? And some of that stuff gonna have to be put in the right perspective, man. Um, things can get kind of weird, so you got to be ready for some of. You got to be ready for some of these guys because they're a little bit touched when it comes to these dogs. You know, I was dealing with a cat at the beginning, you know, and I was telling this guy the other day uh, about the fat bill blood. You know, I had some of that 2 eyes blood bred to the El Negro with the spike stuff on the bottom years ago. And I bred my old family red Rufus Chinaman to it. So they got some dogs now that bred similar to those dogs. And but it's it's what you said, more watered down than what I bred to. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I was telling the young man that when I did the breeding, I didn't even buy this dog from this cat. This cat sold a dog to this man, and and when he sold it to this man, the man and him had a contract together. You know what I mean? So when the boy sold me the dog, I ain't had no contract with him. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the man was so high on this female dog, man, that it was ridiculous. So I told him, man, when I do my breeding, that I would let him have a puppy because it wasn't no big thing to me. So he didn't really want me to breed to my dog because He didn't know nothing about no old family red, Rufus Chatham. I said, well, this my dog. I'm breeding this dog to this dog. So that's what it's about to be. So, he on the phone with his people and stuff like that. And, they really didn't like this and that. But they had dogs like this female, but their dogs died. The one I had, it lived, you know what I mean? So when I did the breeding, it was 3 puppies and the mama dog right there. So he come to get his one puppy. He stands there for 2-3 hours looking at 3 little puppies. Pick one of these puppies and let's go. I got things to do. You know what I mean? Look, this joker was tripping me out, man. So he act like he was having so much problem because all the puppies looked at that darn good. You feel me? He said, well, which one you want? I said, it really don't matter to me because I got the daddy dog right here and I own the mama dog. And so you get one and I'm going to keep the rest. It was 3 males. So I made it easy for him. I said, pick 2 of them and just leave me one in the box. You just get 2 of them out of there and let's go. And that joker still was standing there. Still standing there. You know what I told him? I said, you take 2 of those puppies and get that mama dog and get out of here. And he got the 2 puppies and got the mama dog. He left. I thought that was crazy, man. And all the money I put on the
weird people
dog,
in these dogs.
But listen, do you know that man worried the devil out of me about that one dog? I had that one dog till he got about 15 months. That man came back worrying the hell out of me about that one dog. You know what I told him? Give me $100 where I can get me some dog food and get this dog, bro. I gave him paperwork and everything.
You wild, man.
Fuck this. Fred said you ain't about to be in my bushes behind some shit I ain't even want.
Hey, the dog that they had, it was a nice dog. But I had better. That's all I can say. I proved the point to him because I bred the day dog. You know what I'm saying? And then, come get the dog, come get it out in the yard, man. And I'm still here today doing the same thing. I still got my Chatham and Rufus stuff in the backyard. Still got it. Yes, I do.
Still doing it to this damn day.
Ain't going nowhere.
Stay consistent. Stay for the young brothers. Stay consistent with your program and your dogs and shit,
and
man.
Watch out for the crazy folk, bro. Because you might not be as nice as me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Because I know I don't fuck, like I told y'all, I don't fuck around with people. If I mess around, I mess with Fred Brown. I mess with brothers that I know the ins and outs of. And like I said, when we do something, we have those type of conversations. If it's this, we doing this. If it's that, we doing that. Agreed. Word. We'll see you when the pups drop. I don't need to harass you or hawk you or none of that. We stand up brothers. If I do a breeding with one of my brothers and a puppy dies, I take a picture of that dead puppy and I send it to my brother. There you go. I don't know. I know he would take my word for it, but that's just the type of up and up business I'm on. And I know that seems graphic for some people, but that's just what it is when you're doing business with people. Be a stand-up person. You know what I mean? Bitch have the puppies. Take a picture of the bitch. I don't care if the bitch look bad or not. Here's a picture. This is what it looked like. You know what I mean? Do good business with people and know the people who you're dealing with. Because like Fred alluded to, weird motherfuckers out here, man. It's dangerous. What connects everybody is the dogs. But yet again, I told y'all several times, you don't really know the people behind the dogs. The only reason you're in contact with that person is because of dogs. And you don't know the person behind them dogs, you got to be real wary of that. You got to be cognizant of that. You got family, kids, all that. I told y'all about the transporters and having random people come to your house. You know, all of them dog tour days is over with. Nobody just coming just to walk around your yard and look at your dog. Them days been over with. We talked about dog thievery in the last video. Something happened to somebody personally we know. So it's like, it's real. You gotta be on your P's and Q's, young brothers. I know it's dogs and it's popular and you meeting a lot of new people and shit. But like I said, you just know they dogs. You don't actually know these people. So don't leave your door open for some old wild shit to happen, especially if you got a family. Because if you're a family man and you put your family first, you always have them first. Their safety is key. Your home is your domain. You know what I mean? Don't just be free inviting people to your fucking spot where your kids sleep. That ain't it. But we had an epic cookout tonight, man. This was a good barbecue. We didn't even drag it out 2.5, 3 hours. We got it right at 2 hours. That's a good movie.
A good movie, yo. Salute to the panel. Bro Brown.
Hey, man.
And Thompson. I appreciate y'all guys, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all brothers for helping me start this podcast. I came to y'all with an idea but I said a lot of young brothers always. I'm not a talkative person on videos. I just like to show my dogs. But I said, man, I know some good brothers that could give out some good information for these young and up and coming brothers trying to do something, and at least try to graduate from the sandbox, as we said. Shout out to Curtis Pittman, Martinez Game Dog, St. Joe. What's going on, my brother? How you doing? Brickyard in the house.
Brickyard.
Martinez. Man, I think I got white chocolate already, man. Eli Zachary, I appreciate you. Welcome down, Ram. I appreciate y'all keeping the chat jumping. We had a good show tonight, man. I just want to say God bless everybody. Keep your dogs safe. Don't incriminate yourself. Hey, Brown, how can people reach you?
I don't think Brown.
Oh, Brown dropped out. Hold on, he's back in. He always do that damn shit. Go ahead, Fred. How can the people reach you?
I'm on Facebook under Fred Davis. And
all right, I'm gonna put it in the banner next time, and I'm gonna link it in the chat. You still doing the hot boxes, the brew boxes?
Yeah, I'm still doing those for $6.50. And you know, a lot of people say, "Yeah, the wood is high. The wood high. The middle to go on the roof is high. The chain link fence is high. The hardware for the doors and all that stuff is high." Hey, there's no $300 and $400 brew boxes anymore. You can forget about it.
$650 to holler at Fred for the brew boxes. Don't be coming cheap. Don't be coming cheap. Don't be coming cheap.
Hey, I put my time in there too now.
Yeah, he's putting together a nice brew box for you guys. If we got some young brothers in the chat who don't know what a brew box is, it's either a brew box or a hot box. I call it a hot box, but it's known as a brew box. It's got legs on it. It's got the little dog house in the front. It's fenced in and everything. It's a way for a bitch that's pregnant to have puppies off the ground. Nice, quiet. You can move it.
All the
female that's having puppies, an injured dog. Yeah, or a female that's in heat, an injured dog, a sick dog, anything that you want to isolate the dog and have it in a nice small area that's clean and sanitary, and it's a nice little compartment. He's building them. He's doing them for $650. And I also want to say, because he brought up pricing, we talked about dog food and everything's through the roof. Dogs ain't cheap. All of that, I used to get dogs off a Jeep for $500 and shit. Yeah, that's nice. Those days are gone. They're over.
Over.
The price of everything is going up. The price of dogs are going up. A good, solid bred, healthy animal with correct documentation and all of that shit, that's not cheap. It's not cheap. Pay what people are asking if you're trying to do business. If not, shop somewhere else. It's not an argument. It's nothing to take personal or anything like that. I don't go to Walmart and say I feel like paying $2 for this 5 gallons of milk. I don't feel Pampers and formula for my son. I don't go in there to the shop and say, oh, I only feel like spending this. I only got this. They tell you to get the fuck out the store, and they not polite about it.
Yeah. Hey,
so
you can compare prices, right? You can compare prices. That's good to shop around and stuff like that. You got guys that's window shoppers. Then you got guys that sit on phone for hours and shoot you some of the biggest lies.
Real talk.
I'm going to Western Union right now. I'm about to send you the cash out. I mean, it ain't even about all that, man. It ain't even about all the lies. Just be straight up. I mean, if you ain't gonna do something, you ain't gonna do it. I mean, you don't have to lie to nobody. Just be 100.
Don't be a
weirdo.
Yeah, don't
be a weirdo. That's why I bang the email. I got an email address. Y'all hit me on the email. I send out a greeting on my email because I ain't doing nothing until the end of summer. I'm chilling. I'm not pressed for nothing. I finally got everybody on chains and shit. I ain't got no little puppies running around like that. I ain't had no litters dropping months. I'm chilling. But I may do something at the end of the summer if I feel like it, depending on how busy my schedule is. But I bang that email. If you can't meet that criteria, there's no need for us to even have to get on the phone. It's not necessary. I mean, I don't want to come off like an asshole, but I wanted to do a segment on that, on prices on dogs and how to conduct yourself doing business with people, especially if you're contacting breeders about dogs. And I think we're gonna do a cook up on our next one on that because that should take. We was about to end the show.
I think that'd be real proper.
Yeah.
I want to give that one its due justice. I don't want to just try to run that off at the end of this show. But that next show we do, and like I said, I'm gonna contact. If everybody who's still in the chat, if y'all watching, pay attention to my community page. If we change the show to Saturday, I'm gonna put it on the community page. If I can't get off work at a reasonable time to do the Thursday show at 8, I'll put on the community page that we changed it to Saturday at 8. That's a good time for you brothers, right? Yeah, that should work, right?
Hey, I'm gonna try to make it happen. That's all I can say.
Yeah, we'll try to work something out. We'll try to work something out. But I want to appreciate everybody coming through. Brown, how could the people reach you before we get up out of here?
Y'all can reach me at Brown's Kennels, BROWNS Kennels at Gmail. I got a couple things on the ground right now. A few pups. If y'all interested, boys. Y'all can also see me on Instagram at Brown Kennels. And salute to all you guys, man, for coming through and for the support, man.
Thank you for the support.
We had a lot of people. 90-something people. Do we appreciate the support? And I appreciate the brothers. Other than that, y'all know how y'all can reach me. I got the email on the banner. I'm gonna type up their joint for the next show so they'll scroll it. Actually, when I get off of this shit, I'll have them send me the info so I can have y'all scroll. I think it is showing the Thompson'S Kennel, so that's the first time I put a banner up. So I'm gonna have everybody else join on there, so how we can reach you. So we ain't gotta do this at the end of every show. But my man got the hot boxes. My man Brown got some pups on the ground. Me, I'm just chilling. But other than that, y'all have a blessed one, and we appreciate the love and support.
One.
Peace out.